It's a dialysis review for March 18th, 2023. I came in at 77.4 and I was overweight. They said I gained 5.5, and the person that put me on let me pull 6, which I was surprised about, but she just didn't know. So the nurse doing the rounds about an hour into my treatment realized that I was above my cutoff, and she said that, I have to come down. So I protested. I tried to explain my plight, which never really works. And I know she has the authority to change and go against what the protocol that they have for me. And she decided not to. And while I was talking to her, she said she would go with 5 kilos instead of 6. And I don't know, I guess I got smart with her because she was trying to put me in my place, and I decided that she should be putting hers, and she was like, she just shut up, and she put it down to 4.7. So I was set for 4.7, and then about an hour and 20 minutes into, with an hour and 20 minutes left, I realized that my machine was clotting, because I would have had to pull like 1.7 in the last hour. So I had to protest and explain the situation to them, and eventually she came over and she changed, restringed the machine so that I wouldn't have to be pulling through the clot. Like, I wasn't even gonna get 4 liters off if they hadn't have switched it, and I had to suggest it over and over, and then finally they did it. So she raised my goal, which she said she couldn't do, up to 5, because they have to give you saline in order to get your blood out of the hoses. So I'm pulling for 5, and it didn't make it. It definitely didn't make it. I had to pull for an extra 38 minutes in order to get to the goal of 5, and they lowered that to 25, which raised how much fluid I would pull in the hour. So they literally put me in danger of cramping by raising the amount of fluid that it pulls. So it's pulling fast as hell now at the end with the last little bit of time, and it still didn't make it. So I had to ask them if I can stay until I got to 5 liters, and they allowed me to do that. So I ended up leaving at 72.3, which means I pulled 5.1. I pulled out basically exactly what it said I pulled, because I had to wait for a little while at the end because they were taking everybody else off and they were busy. And I ended up pulling extra fluid while the machine was done with the dialysis machine. So if they don't turn it off, it keeps cleaning your blood, and that high requirement for the pull, that goes down. But the machine can't just stop pulling. It says it does, but it doesn't just stop pulling. That's why there's always a small variance. And that variance was shown in this point because I just sat there while the timers were both saying 0, and it pulled off an extra 130 milliliters. So that's what the extra 100. That's why it's 72.3 instead of 72.4. So I pulled 5130, 5130 kilograms.
You said you were lightheaded this morning.
So my thing is, philosophically, I disagree with everything that happened. I feel like I was put in danger, and nobody really cared about what was happening. They didn't care about my individual experience. They acted like I was trying to do something to them by asking for it. Like, they even granted my wish and then took it away, causing the machine to clot. They put me in danger. And by the grace of God, I was still able to come up with suggestions to ask them that they would be amenable to. even though they were being very disagreeable. Grace of God and my own wherewithal. So that's the end of the dialysis review for today. And I just want to say that, like, I need individualized, intelligent care. And dialysis centers don't deliver that. They deliver standardized, belligerent care. And they believe that they are the authority and that all people are the same. And we should all live under the umbrella that they give us for treatment. And I vehemently disagree with that philosophy. And it's the philosophy of all these high and mighty medical professionals. And when you're 10 years into a situation like being a dialysis patient, you start to see things that are I can't even talk. Statistic. I must have brain damage or something. Systemically wrong with the industry. And when you're intelligent enough to ask the right questions, they start to discourage you from doing what you want to do. It's like there's like this ego in the industry, and these people don't pay attention to logic. They pay attention to their egos and whether they're right or not. And they're not always right. They're not always the smartest, and they ignore logic. They ignore the individual experience, and they refuse to learn. They refuse to learn from what's happening right in front of them. That's literally what happens when you ignore logic. So let me get off my soapbox, and I'll go ahead and go in here and sit down. I'm glad that I've put in the work to be able to survive a situation like this, and I don't expect to have any kind of problems, even though I'm carrying an extra kilo of water. If I hadn't intervened, I'd be carrying 2 or 3 extra, and I'd be in a dangerous situation. That is all. Thank you for listening. If you have listened, I know I've kind of made it a long video. We got 7 minutes so far. And if you think that I'm right and you have information that could help me, leave a comment. Because I don't know how to get individualized, intelligent care. I don't know how to get people to pay attention to the things that I'm making videos about. Like, the medical industry doesn't care about your individual plight. They just want money. They want to avoid losing money, i.e. getting sued. And it's not right.